What's going on, guys? It's your boy Anthony back with another edition of the Fourth Man Podcast. Appreciate everyone who's tuning in to another episode here early in the Big Three off season, and it's March, and slowly we are getting closer and closer to that time frame where guys start announcing they're going to join the league. Guys are telling us that they're going to return. With some updates on some new changes within the league. You know, Ice Cube's always got something cooking up in his sleeves about something new and innovative coming. We obviously already got a glimpse of where the league's gonna be playing in 2023 this summer. So a lot of exciting things here in March, and hopefully, I mean, these things ramp up pretty quickly. So hopefully we get some news here within this month, or hopefully early next month. Obviously, the tryouts, as we've seen, have usually happen around that April-May timeframe. So fingers crossed we get some news here soon. But thank you to everyone who's tuning in. Not a ton of news today, but as you can tell by the description, we have an awesome interview today with Killer Three's KJ McDaniels. Before we talk about that and get into the interview with KJ, I just want to say thank you to all the support up to this point so far. And if you're not already following the show on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, any kind of social media, make sure you do so. It's at Fourth Man Pod, pretty much on every social media out there, at Fourth Man Pod, 4TH Man Pod. If you want to watch the visual version of our episodes, it's youtube.com/fourthmanpod as well. And really appreciate the platform that we're given by Believe Network and Dash Radio and the guys over from Nothing But Net. We appreciate you guys who are tuning in on that end, and just appreciate you guys at Believe for giving us the platform to continue to talk about the Big Three as we continue to grow and grow here in 2023. All right, like I mentioned, just have the interview today. Not a ton of news going on within the Big Three. Currently, we obviously got an update last week or the week before about just some things in terms of the schedule and which cities they're going to be playing in. Kind of took a deep dive into that on the last episode. So if you want to hear a little bit more about that, make sure you go check out that episode. But other than that, it's kind of a slowly ramping thing. We've seen some things that Ice Cube is doing just on his end, but a lot of behind the scenes work, it seems like that's not necessarily open to the public. There's been a little bit of talk about maybe taking the traditional route to ownership and having these teams sold, which could mean that these teams could have their own affiliate cities. We don't really know yet, but there's been some early talks about that. So I'm sure Ice Cube, we've already seen some incredible work done from him as a CEO, and I'm sure that he's going to continue to come up with some big and bright ideas to make sure this thing continues to kick and move along, you know, at the rate that the league was going. Just stuttered a couple of times there. The league was going at a strong rate, you know, up into 2019 before the COVID year. So hopefully we can get back to there or get a little bit closer this year as the league continues to grow and grow. But all that being said, you know, not a ton of news. Very fortunate to have Killer Three's KJ McDaniels on, who was a second round pick last year, just finished up his rookie season in the Big Three, and a guy that took a little bit of time to get things going, earned the trust of a tightly knit Killer Three squad. But once he did, really fit into that team very seamlessly, and really cool to see, you know, by the end of week 7, week 8, kind of just him fitting into the culture of what the Killer Three's guys over there, guys like Frank, Dante, Josh Powell, and then obviously Oak, who's been there since day one. Really cool to see him kind of fit into that culture that Killer Three's has built over the past few years. But all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our interview with KJ McDaniels of Killer Three's. All right, so first guest of the year, and today we're welcome on by former Clemson star, NBA vet, and Killer Three's player, KJ McDaniels. KJ, again, appreciate you coming on, and welcome to the show.
No doubt, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let me just start here. It's been a pretty good couple weeks for you. You know, you recently had your 30th birthday. You debuted a new pair of sneakers, and then as of recently, you just dropped 31-21 in a big win over the Warriors over there. How are you feeling just over the past couple of weeks?
It's been fun, man. You know, I'm enjoying the start of the new year. Blessed to be, able to, play the game I love over here in the Philippines in the PBA, playing with a lot of great competition, and seeing a lot of familiar faces as well.
Definitely. I feel like there's been a lot of guys from the Big Three as well, or maybe that you saw this past summer that have been playing over there as of recently. Can you just talk a little bit about what you enjoy about playing in the PBA and the level of competition within the league?
Um, Well, first, the country, they love basketball over here. They really appreciate the game. And they've always embraced me since my first game over here. Didn't know I had fans over here, and it's been just a fun experience, man. It's a blessing, to be able to continue to play the game. I love in the competition. It's been great. A lot of talent over here. Um, a lot of guys that are a lot older than me still playing, and a lot of the young guys that are coming in and playing there. They're phenomenal. So it's been great experience, and I'm just blessed.
That's awesome, and especially going to a country where you're supported by people you didn't even realize were supporting you.
Yep.
So that's got to be a really cool experience, and it just feels like a lot of people are drawn to the PBA. So I'm excited to see how that league continues to grow as well. Before we get into the big three, I kind of want to talk a little bit about your journey getting to the big three. Just in summary, going back to your Clemson days, I really remember your Clemson days with you and Jaron Blossom game. You guys were a couple stars at Clemson. Obviously, you had some great years there. But I feel like a lot of the credit for Clemson, or there's not as much credit for Clemson basketball as there is Clemson football, maybe just because over the recent years. I would love to know something from your perspective that people don't know about Clemson basketball. Like, what's something about Clemson basketball that people should know that people don't know, maybe outside of the inner Clemson team?
Oh, well, first off, Clemson, it's basketball. It's a gritty system. It's for underdogs, people that's been overlooked basically. And going into Clemson, I used to watch a lot of ACC games, just basketball period. But specifically when I watched Clemson game, they were always a gritty team. I was still am a big Trevor Booker fan. When he was there playing. I got to play with, a lot of great guys my freshman year, and Tanner Smith, Andre Young, Brian Narcissus, Milton Jennings, and Devin Booker as well. So, it was a great group of guys that we came in with my freshman year. And, we knew from then, like the team was, gritty. And, that's what Clemson basketball is all about, grit and heart. And, the guys are doing great now, with the record that they have. They've been, showing a lot of heart as well. A lot of great guys there. And, I'm happy to see them succeed and doing well.
100%. Yeah. And I feel like too, people forget like Clemson is in the ACC. I think it's overlooked a lot in the football, in the football world, but in the basketball world, ACC is a different level of competition.
Oh
Whereas
yeah,
ACC and football is just, it doesn't necessarily have the best rep for like being one of the most talented Power Five conferences when it comes to football. So you guys play a lot of, I'm sure you played against a lot of great players when they were at Duke, North Carolina, and wherever else, Syracuse, teams like that.
absolutely, absolutely. I played against a lot of great players. Guys are still playing now. They might not be in the NBA, but they're somewhere, playing, and just being able to play for that long is, it's a blessing for anybody. And I'm, just wishing everybody to stay healthy.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure it prepared you to go to the NBA. You were at Clemson for 3 years, jumped to the NBA, got drafted by the Sixers in the second round. Felt like there's a lot of buzz around your name, specifically on the defensive end, just because what you did in college, blocking shots,
Mhm.
obviously making your presence known, guarding some of the best offensive players from a night-to-night basis. And it felt like a lot of teams early on in your career were kind of leaning into that,
Mhm.
like specifically to you to bring you in for that defensive presence. But I felt like, and maybe you can correct me here, but I feel like in today's world, there are, those defensive specialist kind of guys that are still on rosters and teams, but they have felt like they have a little bit of a longer leash than maybe you got to experience within the NBA, despite you actually
Mhm.
being a better scorer than a lot of the guys that are like
Mhm.
those defensive specialists. Do you feel like in the 2010s, early 2010s, teams didn't emphasize that defensive guy in the roster maybe as much as they do now?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's not, it's like you said, no disrespect, but like I am a better scorer than, most of the guys now. But and I wasn't, given a fair chance, I don't think. But, that's in the past now. I have to, just move on and still work on ways to improve my game. But no, I don't think it's really, I don't think they, you know, it's hard, like, going back to, seeing like how it was when I was playing to now. I don't really know what's being said or, being explained when guys are coming on to, playing. And I don't feel like defensive is such a big, thing anymore. They don't
Hmm.
take, as much pride
For
as
sure.
we, did. But I mean, it's different. The game has changed a lot, in good ways and, some, negative ways, but it's different opinions from different people. And I know if I was, given a chance to be back in the NBA, I mean, I definitely take it and, just do what I need to do as a player from coming from the organization or coaching staff. So, it is what it is.
No, I feel that. I love your perspective on that. And I bring it up because recently Gilbert Arenas was talking about Bill Laimbeer and how he wouldn't be able to succeed in today's NBA because of how aggressive he was. And he
Mm,
wasn't really as good of a defender. It was mostly just because of the rule change. So I brought it up just because you can see how much like the game has changed, like you said, but also too that tenacity on defense. Just it's really just not the same. I mean, an all-star game, I know it's not a good representation of it, but like we saw what that looked like the other night in
yeah,
comparison to what it used to look like. So I love to get your
yeah.
perspective just on like the different eras and how much you've seen it change.
I mean, I have seen it change. I saw a few of the interviews after the All Star game. And All Star Weekend is, it's for the fans and for, the best guys to come out there and play. And I feel like just with the intensity of the season going on, guys probably don't want to go out there and get hurt in
Mm-hmm.
some way, just because they know they have a second half of the season, and they want to compete for a championship. But I mean, I feel like they'll change it moving forward, and that just it's no, they're not controlled by anybody to go out there and play hard. So if
For
they,
sure.
go out there and play hard, celebrating LeBron with the, passing, Kareem and just seeing him out there for as long as he's been. So, and I feel like that's a, big thing to look at, besides that. So, that's a major accomplishment.
Yeah, and I definitely
And
understand
congrats
too.
to the
Like,
king for sure.
yeah, 100%. Congrats to Braun, and I definitely understand because you don't want you gearing up for the heftier part of your run within the season after the All Star
Yeah.
break. So it totally makes sense. It's just crazy what you I guess see in comparison to what you used to see back in the day. But within that All Star weekend too, we saw a lot of young guys propped up, which is pretty cool because we saw a lot of
Yeah.
the G League guys getting a chance to play, and we've seen the rising stars game. There's been a big emphasis and prioritization, it seems like, within the NBA around unproven but promising talent. And to an
Mm,
extent has kind of hurt some of those vets, maybe guys that like had an initial chance but didn't get a long leash, maybe someone as yourself. And it feels like that's just kind of a revolving door about like who's the next shiny new toy that can be the next
mm,
great player to the
yeah.
extent of vets getting pushed out for guys that haven't proven themselves in the league at all. Why do you feel like, and just in your opinion, that vets are kind of taking a back seat now to maybe some of this unproven talent that it seems like at points does work out, but for the most part, it's just guys going back through that door of like short NBA stint and then they're out or going overseas or whatnot.
Um, I mean, I just, I'm not really a guy that really, gets into the, um, I'm not like the new era, old era. I don't really talk about it as
Mm-hmm.
much. I think it's probably my first time really, going that in depth into something like that. But I mean, you gotta accept it, the game the way it is. Like, it's basketball, it's a way to play it, and older guys' opinions, and it's a way to play it, and the younger generation's opinion. So it's just, you gotta how to take it for what it is. And I mean, guys are coming in, explosive, more athletic. It's
Mm-hmm.
coming in, get some highlights, and I feel like you know the right people, and you got the right people around you. It'll carry over a little bit longer in the league. But if not, you kind of just you got to go and take advantage of the time you have there, and make them remember your name for sure.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I know that it's the politics of the game isn't really for everybody. It's really not for me either. I really asked that question because now playing in the Big Three, you see the amount of talented people that
Yeah,
had their shots in the NBA and didn't necessarily, it feels like it's really hard, like once you're out, to get back in and be able to like stay and make your name for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope at some point there's just that balance of like vets being signed and then the young guys obviously having their spots as well. And,
Yeah.
you know, for you're having a lot of success playing overseas, but you just finished your first season in the Big Three, playing in the
Mm-hmm.
summer. Let me ask you how you heard about the opportunity to play in the Big Three and what got you interested.
Well, first off, I'm a big fan of Ice Cube. I love what he's doing for the guys that aren't playing in the league that still have a passion to play. That's huge, and I'm thankful to be able to be a part of it. And then I saw where there was the tryouts coming up in Vegas, so I decided to go out there, try out, get around some of the guys, and meet some of the guys that have already played in the Big Three as well. I wasn't sure how the draft went, never really watched the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoyed watching it on the weekends, and to be a part of it, it was a great experience, man. And like again, I was just blessed to be a part of something major that shows guys out there getting putting work in during the summer. It's guys that we all know should be in the league, and that's not. But like I said, you got to just take the game how it is and just continue to grind and be there for your family and just do it for yourself. Like some people get discouraged if they're not playing in the league and then just quit. And I feel like the guys that's playing in the Big Three, that's their mentality. They don't want to quit. They love the game, just
Yeah.
period. So
Mm-hmm.
it gives guys a chance to go out there. It gives families chance to come out, give something for the kids to come out, look up to. It's really that's what it comes down to, passing on to the next generation and giving them something to enjoy, and parents that probably want to play but don't you know
Yeah.
get to play. And then summer basketball is rare unless you're going to like a pickup gym and or a tournament in your local city. But for Ice Cube to have it where it's this past year in Chicago and in Dallas, it gave people a chance to come out. But I know when the tour was going, where they were going hitting different cities,
Mm-hmm.
it gave every city something to look forward to, and then it's televised on TV. So
Yeah.
that was it was a great experience, man. I'm blessed to be a part of it.
What was your kind of going back before you were actually drafted? You were playing a little bit in the combine. I'm sure, it's a bunch of hungry dudes trying to get an opportunity, which I don't think people put this in perspective enough. And I feel like I don't know if you've looked at it through this lens, but if you haven't, definitely need to give yourself a pat on the back because there's only 20 spots. It's like hundreds of
Mm,
people fighting for 20 spots. You're one of 20 to enter the league. So like kudos to you for being drafted in the first place. But going back to the combine experience,
appreciate it.
what was it like for you? And did you talk to any of the captains or the coaches that were there? Did you have any indication of like maybe where you could go following your performance?
I didn't. I had no clue at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to show face. I know I've gotten questions of where's KJ now? What is he doing now? Playing and or is he not playing? And a lot of the people there already knew, and they were happy to see me there. So I mean, I got to speak to a few captains as well, but I wasn't sure where I was going to land. I know when the draft was going on, I was on a flight actually.
Oh,
Not
okay.
sure where to, but I was on a flight and me and Josh Powell were texting, and I think he was like letting me know that I got picked, and I couldn't wait. Like I didn't have any signal on the plane, so I had to wait till I got off, and then that's when the text started coming in, and I saw where I got picked. So, that was a blessing getting off a flight and getting that type of news, because I was watching it at first as much as I could before the flight took off. So it was it was fun. It was a blessing just to find out how I got picked and when I landed. So it was cool.
Man, that's dope. Do you and JP go way back?
Yeah, actually, me and JP are good friends. Met him when I was in Houston,
Okay.
when he was on the coaching staff with Houston my rookie year. So ever since then, me and him been locked in, and that's my guy.
Man, that's dope. And you guys got a chance to play together. I look at Killer Threes
Yep.
kind of since I would say probably since 2019, they've built this really strong culture, and they've had some of the same guys, especially the captains, Dante,
Mm.
Frank, and then JP have all been together for a little while, have built this culture. Can you tell me a little bit about like the Killer Threes culture, and was it like very noticeable as soon as you got in? Just like, can you talk to me a little bit about like the foundation they put on, or I should say like the emphasis they put on like really taking this serious and winning like within the
Yeah, I
league?
mean, the culture is fantastic, man. It's definitely an underdog culture. Like we have to go out there and be gritty, be able to defend, and just share the ball. I mean, we have to go out there. I know we're probably, not the favorites to win. That's I know we're overlooked. So that was our thing going in, just being the underdog, staying hungry, um, and just playing hard, man. That's what the Killer Three culture is about. Just going out there and dominating and fighting through adversity, picking each other up. And I feel like that's something that we did, this past season. And it was just fun to be a part of the whole thing, man. Just from the practices to just flying in the games, like being there before the games, watching the other games. It was a great experience, and then just watching the old games, like when they first started with
Mm-hmm.
Steven Jackson, big fan of him as well. Ron Artest was on the team, CJ Watson, guys like that. So just like not really knowing before I would be picked with that team. After I was picked, I went back, watched a lot of the videos, and just kind of saw how they were. And they were a gritty team, and it's a gritty league. Like it's where guys hungry that still want to play. Um, and I'm excited.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be a super fun year this year,
Yeah.
with the tour going back on, being able to kind of rep some cities maybe you played in or your hometown city potentially at
Mm-hmm.
times. So, man, that's cool. I got to ask about Coach Oak. What's he like as your coach, and just your experience with him playing this year?
I mean, I honestly I couldn't believe it was Coach Oakley just going back or growing up watching him play against
Mm-hmm.
the greats and playing with greats. But he's super chill. He don't take any BS. Like he just gonna shoot it straight to you, let you know what we need to do, and then he was a coach that's on us. Like if we doing something, you know, like half-ass, he gonna let us know like right then and there. So I mean, it's good to have a coach like that, behind you that it's not gonna cut, or sugarcoat anything. Just gonna give it to you, the way it is and need to be heard.
Is there like a quote that you like if you heard someone say, you'd be like, oh yeah, Coach Oak says that all the time, or like if he said something, like is there like a phrase or something that you heard time and time again this past summer from Coach Oak that you just kind of tied to him?
I mean, just like we he would say just like what would he say? Damn, let me see. He would say something like we can't get hit in the mouth or something, just or be tough. So I mean, we already knew coming from he didn't even have to say much. We just
Mm-hmm.
really already knew like what his mindset was, to go out there, hit first, you know what I'm saying? And then,
Mm-hmm.
get the win at the end of the day. That's what it's about,
Yeah,
winning. Um, so that was our main thing, focused on winning and, playing defense and, you know, not playing soft, basically,
yeah.
getting in there, getting, having to get pushed around. They trying to push us around, push them back type thing. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, I only ask because sometimes they have him mic'd up so you can hear him saying some stuff. And he seems like he's pretty funny, but I was just thinking like gotta be funnier like in the locker room, like pregame when he's not like all, mic'd up for people to listen
I
back
mean,
at
no,
home.
he cool. I mean, he's a cool coach. He came from an era where basketball is physical, so that's what he, basically mentioned to us is go out there, be physical, don't get pushed around, and just win.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. Were there any adjustments you felt like you had to make coming into the league? Did you feel like you were pretty comfortable off rip, or did you feel like it took you a couple games to get your, feet under you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it took me a few games because I mean, I wasn't really coming. I didn't come in playing like the entire game or something like that. I just get spurts in the beginning, but as it went
Mm-hmm.
on, I feel like he was gaining a little bit more trust in me to go out there and be active and just play my game.
Yeah. I definitely noticed that too. I felt like further in the season, I felt like he tasked you a lot, especially down the stretch with just guarding some of the best players on the other team, like
Oh yeah.
offensively. Who do you feel like was the toughest to guard throughout your first
Uh,
year in the Big Three?
I mean, I have to, go with big bro Michael Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
Bees is he's uh to me a Hall of Famer, but Bees was, I mean, he's cold. Like either
Yeah.
hand he could use. He's 6'8", 6'9". Can shoot from anywhere on the court. Um, you know, and could play like from anywhere on the court. So I think between him and Gerald Green,
Mm-hmm.
these are both guys that I looked up to. Coming up, playing, enjoy watching their highlights. On my grind to get to the NBA. So these are guys that I've looked up to, been around, gotten to talk to. So going up against them, they just make me better.
Yeah. You bring up those two guys. I felt like those were two of the grittiest games you had all year as well. Like some two, like down to the wire wins, like some of the best
Hmm.
games, especially like as you guys are like fighting to still stay in playoff contention and everything. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty crazy. But to be able to guard those dudes and come out with the win as well. Were
yeah.
there any surprises within your first year playing in the league?
Not really. No
Mm-hmm.
surprises. Everybody was, welcoming. A lot of guys that, I hadn't seen in a while. We were, all happy to see each other doing well, playing, staying healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't really have any complaints. Um, maybe just, a lot more tick. That's the only thing that, I could every player's gonna ask for. That's
Mm-hmm.
not playing as much, but I mean, like that's kind of been my story throughout my entire career, just kind of having to prove myself and you know, um, prove people wrong. And it's nothing that I look forward to doing. It's just something that you have to do and just kind of read the room and see how it's being played out. But it's a blessing at the end of the day, and I know what I could do,
Yeah.
and if I have to wait to wait for a few games to go by, and then when I'm out there, I just show it. Then it's not, I know what I could do though. So
Yeah. And I feel like you did a good
ain't
job
nothing I
of
really harp on.
I feel like you did a really good job of just making the most of your opportunities as well. And that's why Coach O
Absolutely.
gained so much trust in you down the stretch. So really hoping, to see whether you run it back with them or not, really hoping to see you back in the league. And I hear that a lot too, just from guys that I've spoken with in the past is some of the best parts are just the camaraderie and being able to see guys you haven't seen in a while on like for like 8 to 10 weeks straight. You just get to like kind of hang out with these dudes on a weekend.
Yeah, man.
So that's
Yeah, it's a
that's got to
great
be pretty
experience,
cool.
man. It's a great experience. I enjoyed my team with Frank, Don, Dante, JP. They great guys, man. And then having Coach Oak, they're all great dudes, and I had fun with them. And it's I'm learning. Like I was the youngest of the bunch, so I'm still learning from them. As we went through the season, and we got to practice and play against each other, and got to kind of fill out each other's games. So that was fun.
Yeah. Last thing I want to ask about the league, just anyone you'd want to see play in the league that hasn't played in the league yet this upcoming summer. Obviously, you want to see yourself back playing with the team and just getting
Mm.
that opportunity again. But anyone that you'd want to see that hasn't played yet, maybe someone under the
Oh
radar, or
man.
even someone that's maybe just hadn't played in a while.
I don't really, I really don't know. I'm gonna say probably since I'm out here in the Philippines, Carmelo's out here, as a global ambassador, so I'll probably like to see him play.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Okay.
and probably J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
Who else? Hasn't played. Um,
What about your boy
and
Jaron?
probably Jamal Crawford and JB. Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean JB. I know he would love the opportunity to play in it as well. And congrats to JB and his team doing well in the Euro Cup. I mean that's my guy. So yeah, I mean I like to see him as well. I could go down the list of
Yeah.
players that I would want to see in it. But those are just names that pop up that I've seen, like on social media. So
Mm-hmm. Those are three I'd love to see as well. At this point, I think I'm hoping if enough people say Jamal Crawford that they want to see play in the league, maybe he'll, get back into the game. But he seems like he's pretty settled with his new
yeah, he's pretty
broadcasting
locked in.
role. Yeah,
They don't have nothing to prove. None of those guys have nothing
yeah,
to prove to
at
anybody.
all.
It's just fan favorites. They already solidified in the game. So it's those are just people I think of when you ask that question. But
Yeah,
yeah, hopefully, we get the chance. If I get the chance to, play with Killer Threes again, I'm definitely, gonna be there in the yellow
yeah,
and black.
yeah. Be cool to see you play with Jaron again. Just kind of get the Clemson boys back. So
Oh
we'll see
man,
what
yeah.
happens.
Anytime that combo come up, it's gonna be a problem. So
Facts. Last thing I wanted to ask, and I'll let you go. You just released your new shoe. Tell me about like kind of the design, I guess, like ideas that came into it. Like, how did this idea first come about, and then what's kind of the background behind why you designed it the way you did?
okay, well yeah, it's a street sport. They're out of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just got connected with those guys. So when I was in the G League, I with the Grand Rapids Drive, I had a teammate, Zeke Upshaw. Rest in peace. He passed away. And me and Speedy and his mom would still talk every once in a while. And they did like an event for Zeke for the foundation, and Stria was a part of it. So I reached out to them, and I wanted to, basically see if I can collaborate with them in honor of Zeke and them doing a shoe and Zeke. Um, so that was really my main reason for reaching out with them. And since then, Eric has been a great guy for me, and we've been working with each other, and they've sent me shoes. I've been able to play in them. They're comfortable shoes, real light. So we came up with the Mardi Gras Soul Foodies edition. It's February. That's the month of Mardi Gras, which originated in Mobile, Alabama. I know everybody thinks it's a New Orleans thing. They just
Mm-hmm.
took it to another level, and I know it's celebrated down there a lot. But yeah, it originally started in Mobile, and that was my birth. That's my birth town. So those colors on there, we put it on there in honor of my family, the state, back at home. And then we have the 32 um, X14 on it. That's those are my numbers that I played
Mm-hmm.
in most of my basketball careers. A lot of meanings behind those numbers. I can go down, all day about the reasons why. And it has my logo on it. And then on the inside, you take a marker and you can write in whatever whatever motivates you,
Oh,
whatever
that's
keeps you
dope.
going. So it's on one side it has my logo, then and the inside that's where you write in whatever quote keeps you going.
Yeah.
And since I've been working with them, they've been nothing but helpful. I've had a lot of people asking me and telling me the shoes are fire. I need to cop a pair. So the link is in my Instagram bio. And it's basically just a shoe that reminds me of home. It gives me reminders of who I do it for, and where I found the love again of basketball. You know,
Yeah.
playing with my dad. A lot of my guys growing up, my cousins, a lot of family that's been out there with me since I was, young playing. So that's for them, and it just keeps me motivated. Every time I look at the shoe, it just keeps me motivated. On what's important and who I do it for.
That's dope. Yeah, the shoes are fire, and definitely
I
like
appreciate it.
looking into it. I never really heard of Stria before, but you're saying they're comfortable and stuff, so I'm gonna definitely check them out. Maybe try
Nah,
to
man,
cop a
check
pair
them out. They
myself.
it's a upcoming shoe shoe brand that's gonna change the game. I think it's a great shoe. Like they got different models, different guys. I think X and Ray John Tucker over in
Okay.
Australia, they rock
Uh-huh.
them as well. So
Okay. They're having
yeah, I mean it's a growing
good
brand.
seasons too.
It's a growing brand, man. Yeah, they having a good season. Congrats to those guys. But yeah, that's the soul foodies.
I like it. Man, I'm gonna definitely have to check them out and make sure whoever's listening check those out. They're in Instagram bio and your Instagram. What's your Instagram at? so people
yeah,
can find it.
It's KOCMJ.
So definitely go over there, check those out. They're fire shoes. Like I really like the
For
design a
sure, man. I
lot. So
appreciate that.
hope to see a few
I
more people
appreciate
rocking
it.
them. But man, I appreciate the
Yeah.
time. Best of luck the rest of the PBA season. Continue to put on, and then excited to see you back in the league this summer doing your thing and maybe getting a little bit more opportunity to run with whatever team in hopes of making a playoff run, making a championship run this summer.
For sure. Absolutely. I appreciate it, man. Thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
having me.
Yep.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right, that was our interview with KJ McDaniels. Just want to say once again to KJ, appreciate you for coming on the show. KJ right now is actually playing over there in the Philippines for the PBA League. So just really appreciate him taking the time to come on the show, stay up late, during his travel schedules, after games, things like that. It's something that we've been trying to coordinate, and really just appreciate him like carving out some time for us and telling his perspective on the NBA, his perspective on his first year in the Big Three, and everything else we talked about. And guys, you should go check out those shoes. They look pretty dope. I'm thinking about them, giving something different, something I'm not familiar with a try. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go with those because they're fire. The design is really sick and just really cool to see, the collaboration he's doing with those guys over there. So thank you again to KJ, and thank you to everyone who's tuned in to another episode of the Fourth Man. Again, if you're not already following us on social media at Fourth Man Pod, updates, news, things going on around the league, information about the podcast, everything that you need to know about the Big Three, probably more so are going to find it on a day-to-day basis on our social media. So make sure you're checking that out. Again, if you want to watch the visual versions of our podcast, youtube.com/fourthmanpod. Starting to put up some reels. I'm working and cooking up a few more. So, some different type of content over there. So make sure, you're subscribed, have the notification bell on, and make sure you get all those updates. And then again, appreciate you guys from Believe Network and the Nothing But Net channel for the platform you provide us with each and every week. We'll be back very soon. Hopefully we get some new updates from around the league. But until then, we'll see you guys next time.